If you want to instantly sound more fluent and natural in your IELTS speaking test, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to share 11 expressions that native speakers use every single day, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use them in your IELTS answers. Now, these aren't those strange idioms that you'll never actually use in real life. These are practical, natural phrases that'll help you sound confident, smooth, and clear. And that is exactly what your examiner is listening for when grading your fluency and coherence in the IELTS test. I'm going to break each phrase down with a quick meaning, a usage tip for IELTS, and an example sentence that you can adapt for your own answers. By the end of this video, you'll have some new expressions you can use in your next practice session. As a bonus, with a little practice, they'll sound completely natural. So, let's get started. First things first, the phrases I'm going to teach you have a very fancy sounding name. They're called binomial expressions. So, what is a binomial expression? Well, it's a fancy sounding name for something that's really pretty simple. A binomial expression is just a fixed pair of words that are usually joined by and or. You already know some of these. For example, pros and cons, or first and foremost. Now, these expressions are powerful because you remember them as one chunk, and that means they're going to roll off your tongue smoothly, making you sound confident and fluent. Now that we know what they are, let's get to our list of the 11 binomial expressions you can use in the IELTS speaking test. For each example, I'm going to give you the expression, the meaning, a quick usage tip, and an IELTS-friendly example. Let's start with the first one. Pros and cons means the advantages and disadvantages of something. It's perfect for using in part 3 when you're discussing both sides of a question. For example, there are pros and cons to working from home. On the one hand, it's flexible, but on the other, it can feel isolating. Sooner or later means eventually. It's great for answers involving predictions. For example, sooner or later, governments will need to invest more in renewable energy. Black and white means clear-cut, only two outcomes. But in IELTS, it's even more natural to say something isn't black and white. For example, the question of whether artificial intelligence is good or bad isn't black and white. It depends on how it's used. Give and take is about compromise, and it's a great phrase for talking about teamwork or relationships. For example, a successful marriage is all about give and take. Both partners need to adjust. Safe and sound means safe after something risky. This phrase is great for using when you are telling a story in your Part 2 response. For example, we got caught in a storm during our hike, but luckily we made it back safe and sound. Now and then means occasionally, and this works perfectly for part 1 when talking about your habits. For example, I don't usually eat out, but now and then I try new restaurants with friends. First and foremost means most importantly, and it's great to use when you are structuring your answer. For example, first and foremost, I think education should prepare students for real-world challenges. By and large means generally speaking. This phrase is ideal for general opinions in part 3. For example, by and large, people in my city are very friendly. More or less means approximately. It's really good for softening your statements and making them a bit weaker. For example, I've more or less finished my university assignments, so I have more free time. All in all means considering everything and is great to use when coming to a conclusion. For example, all in all, studying abroad was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Finally, we have an idiomatic binomial. It is through thick and thin and means in both good and bad times. This is a great phrase to add emotional depth to your Part 2 stories. For example, my best friend has supported me through thick and thin. There you go. 11 binomial expressions that can help you level up your fluency, sound more like a native speaker, and impress your IELTS examiner. Now, here's your homework. Don't just write them down. You've got to use them. Pick 3 expressions from this video and make them part of your speaking practice today. You can answer IELTS Part 1 questions, tell a Part 2 story, or give an opinion in Part 3. Remember, the key is to make these phrases feel like your phrases. And that means out loud practice. If you want even more help with fluency, vocabulary, and sounding natural, grab my free IELTS Speaking self-assessment checklist. Comment free in the comments below, and I'll send you the link to your free download. And hey, if you found this useful, give the video a like, subscribe for more IELTS tips, and drop a comment telling me which expression you're going to use first. I read and respond to every comment, and I love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy studies!